Psychopaths have no anxiety. They did an experiment somewhere in Texas where they shot off guns in front of people high on psychopathy. Their heartbeat lowered when gunshots went off. You go in a restaurant anywhere in the world with normal people, you shoot gun off in the air, everybody's freaks out, fight or flight, cortisol, heartbeat goes. There's dudes like Navy SEALs that are just like.
Do you think a level of psychopathy is like a good thing? Can be a good thing? Do high achievers have some of that?
Well, you want your fire department people to be psychopaths. They're very high on psychopathy. You want to have your police officers. You want to have your Navy SEALs. You probably don't want to have first grade teachers, though.
No.
One of my mentors used to say horses for courses. You got to have the right racehorse on the right race course. So if the race course is military fighting, you want the psychopath horse out there. If it's raising a 2-month-old baby, you want high anxiety, because then she'll hear the baby choking on something. Was it Chris Rock or Kevin Hart has this line about the difference between men and women babysitting their kids? He's like, women babysitting, kid falls, they run over there. So he said, man's watching the Super Bowl and loud noises, kids are throwing. He waits until there's like somebody broke their arm before he gets off the couch. That's like what a dad does. He's like, things are flying, he's watching the Super Bowl, and then kid jumps on the other kid, misses, breaks his arm, screams. Then the dad yells, quiet down there. Like, dads are more psychopathic. I've tested over 800,000 people. One of the tests is the Levis and psychopathy test, which is one of the ways. It's a self-examination, and you ask a series of questions, and you can get like a 1 to 100 score kind of.
Is that test live right now?
Yeah, it's on. I own a company called 12types.com. I've had hundreds of thousands of people take it.
Reliable results?
Oh yeah, I didn't invent the quizzes. I took open source ones from the top universities and I put them all into one test, because they have all these. You have to take 10 different tests because nobody ever thought to put them together. So I put them all together. We added a little twist of our own. But the Levinson psychopathy is mostly, I'll see men who are 40 to 60 to 70. And I've seen 100. I've seen a woman with 100. And it's funny. I used to live across the street, and I was talking to this woman, and I was like, there was a group of 50 people who took the quiz, and I said to her, oh, you killed somebody before. And because she got 100, which is so rare. A lot of women, I dated a girl who got a 1. A lot of women get a 0 or 1 on Levinson psychopathy. Most men are getting like 10, 20, or 30. But this woman got 100. I was just joking. There was a big crowd on my basketball court, and I was like, oh, you killed somebody. And she turned white, and she was a black girl. Like, her face turned white. She just got so, and I realized, so I pulled her aside later, like 10 minutes later, and I was like, hey, I was just kind of joking around. We started talking for an hour. At the end of the hour, she admitted she did kill somebody. Oh. She said she was bullied. She grew up in like Chicago somewhere in the projects, and there was a bully girl, and she's like, I didn't mean to kill her. I just hid. When she would come to bully me one time, I hid behind a bush with a stick and I hit her. And I guess she hit her in the back of the head and she fell down and died. And she's like, nobody knows. You're the only one that knows. I said, I won't tell anybody. Jeez. So this was like, whatever. She was like 30, and that happened when she was like 16. But my point is, like, men and women have huge differences in anxiety and psychopathy. They're not opposite personality traits, but they're inversely correlated. People high on anxiety tend to not be psychopaths.
Yeah.
Men, by the way, one common trait is men respect men who display psychopathic features. One of the reasons Donald Trump became president, in many ways, Donald Trump doesn't smile. Americans respect strength. I live in Sweden part-time, Denmark. Europeans are much kind of nicer people now. And Scandinavia, Vikings used to be mean, but all the mean Vikings left Scandinavia 300 years ago and moved to Minnesota. And so America represents strength. And if you look at Trump, he doesn't smile much.
Yeah.
And he displays a lot of psychopathic traits. I don't mean that in a bad way.
That's why he won, though, right? Because there was, I think there was like a lack of strength. There was no strength in America. They're like, even though this guy's batshit, he's strong. He's going to do something different.
Kamala laughed too much. If I would have been on the Kamala advisory board, I'd be like, listen, women already are going to be perceived by men as being less serious and weaker and stuff. Why are you laughing? Why are you cackling all the time? And people would say, well, that's her true personality. I'm like, well, if you want to be president, you better hide it. you better display another part. And Trump's just, Trump, whether you love him or hate him, if you look at the intense psychology and the deep psychology of what's happening, America is a high testosterone country. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of gun violence. That's because we're high testosterone. We got the most people in prison per capita of basically anywhere in the world. So America is always been, going back to the 1700s and before, we're kind of a warlike people. And so who do warriors respect? An even crazier warrior.
Yep.
Donald Trump. You know, look at American history. You had these guys like Robert E. Lee and Grant. These guys were calm under pressure. Napoleon Bonaparte was the greatest conqueror of the last 500 years statistically. He used to stand there at the front of the battle with his, like, he had a little, not binoculars, but they were like a single, you know, little telescope. And he would direct, and bullets would shoot through his hat. Men respected him because this dude had no fear. So you were asking me, does there benefits to psychopath? Yeah, you'll get respect of men. And women are attracted to psychopaths too. There's a book called The Wisdom of Psychopaths. The reason psychopaths exist is women keep sleeping with them.
That makes perfect sense.
As much as women complain about men, I'm like, well, you got to stop sleeping with them, because if you sleep with them, you give birth to boys who are like daddy.
Oh my goodness.
So women control evolution.
I don't think they realize.
No,
humans it would solve a lot of problems if they would.
Yeah, but that's not going to happen.
No.
Women are not going to suddenly be attracted to completely weak soy men. That's never. Women haven't been that way for now, some women are, but in general, women like men who display dimorphic features different than them.
Correct.
In general, a woman doesn't want to weigh more than a man.